So what really have you learned through the first 3 weeks?
They're learning. I mean, when you look at this group of guys, Tyron is the one that really had the most experience back there. You look at Ward, really not many games under his belt. His first couple of games was here toward the end of the season. And have an opportunity to come into a Spagnola's defense, it can be a little bit challenging for you because you don't really understand and know where to make the plays. But we got a couple of games under our belt, and they understand where those plays are supposed to be made. They made a few. We left a few out there on the football field, but I think they're finally honing in and understanding how they fit into this defense. And you're seeing those guys, they're running around. Not a lot of guys just running wide open, free down the football field. Guys are in phase. Just a couple of rookie mistakes here and there that I think we've seen throughout the course of the season, and I think they'll only get better at them.
Coach Reed has talked about the fact that he feels like you guys are just really close to starting to create some turnovers. What is it that tells you that you're close to doing that?
They're doing it on the practice field. I mean, we're getting those turnovers on the practice field, and that's where I talked about their understanding where to make those plays. Training camps, they were really close, and guys were kind of wide open. And then when you have an unorthodox style of offense that you go through during training camp, and you're sitting here in all of these motions and shifts and all of those different things, you can't get a real feel for what's going on. Now we got into the regular season. We played Jaguars and Oakland, and you look at the way that we played last week, these guys, they understand that, okay, this is how it's going to be on a weekend basis, and they understand that the route concepts, and they getting a little bit closer. So just like Coach Reed said, they're getting close. Now just have to do it over and over again. That's the thing that we're trying to get these guys to understand. It can't be one day on, one day off. That switch always have to be on.
Realizing that you guys are focusing on Detroit, we won't get you for a while. Just what will Mo Claiborne's addition mean to the room for you guys?
Just like when he came in, Coach Reed had a plan for him. Bring him in slowly because he had some things that he was dealing with when he was coming out last year. So the same thing right now. I mean, these guys, they've been running around for the last couple of weeks. They'll have 4 games under his belt. So he's still going to be trying to catch up. Not going out there and doing those movements and pulling on guys, making those tackles. You just don't want to throw a guy out there and then all of a sudden you have a setback. But he's going to have a spot on this team. That's just like every other player out here. Everybody has a role. Coach Reed will work him in slowly, and we'll see just how much the things that we taught during training camp, how much he's retained, and being able to just put him out there and see what happens. So it'll just be fun just to see how this room starts to gel and all bodies are out there working and being able to match up with the teams that we'll be covering going forward. The last couple of quarterbacks, been a little bit, up and down. Lamar Jackson, the guy that's running around all over the place and then is going to throw the ball up. We're going to be facing some pretty cool quarterbacks over the next couple of weeks, so we're going to have to be honed in and strapped very tightly. So, when he comes back, we'll just see where he is condition-wise and physically-wise.
Is your expectation like week 7, week 8, he could be back, or you don't want to even?
I have no idea. Coach Spagnola, he'll figure out that, and he does a really good job of implementing guys into the system, and you really don't really know what you really have until you get them under your belt and see the different movements and how they do different things. But they'll have a plan for him, and he's been able to understand. He's been in our meetings and verbally talking and getting up and presenting in front of the guys because we allow them to break down certain things. So it's just going to be fun to just see how this group gel. They've done a very good job so far. Communicating with one another, a very young group. I mean, when you talk about Tyrann Mathieu, who I think probably the oldest on the whole defense, that is, could be some concern, but they're learning from one another and they're growing. So, we just got to keep pushing them. We'll keep giving them as much as possible, and when we think it's an overload, then we'll back off. But right now, they're handling it very well.
A couple more.
You talked a couple answers ago about transitioning to the new scheme, right? Is there a common point of emphasis that you find yourself whether it's Charvarius or whether it's Kendall or whether it's Tyron, like, you know, one thing you've been hitting home the hardest to smooth that transition?
One of the things, you know, really getting hands-on at wide receivers. I mean, we're in a very tough age, you know, from when I played, you know, you were able to beat guys up all the way down the football field. But right now, just trying to hone in at the line of scrimmage, trying to knock off the timing of the route. Because once you get past that 5 yards, you know, now you can't really touch the wide receivers, and then they're at an advantage. And these quarterbacks, like I said, we're going to be playing some really good ones coming up pretty soon, and they're spot on where they're putting the football. So just making sure that they win at the line of scrimmage. You know, in the past, you know, it's just been a lot of off coverage, but that's not the way Coach Spagnuolo play. He likes to be in your face, knocking off the time of the route, and that allows us to get pressure onto the quarterback. So really just honing on those little small details and making sure their footwork, hand placements, and understanding who they're going against for as wide receivers. You know, you have fast, smaller guys. This week we're going against some bigger physical wide receivers. So just making sure they're toned in and honed in on the type of receiver that they're playing, and just being able to change up the different coverages and the things that we're able to maximize of getting the best outfit for as a team, for as a defense to go out there and play against these guys and get a win.
On that front, you talked about when you played, rules all very different, the practice time, the
Yep.
contact. You also kind of mentioned your offense and what a challenge that is, and that's not who you're seeing every week. Is it later in the year before you really hit your stride now, and especially this year with you guys, so many new guys and new scheme and new coaches? Did you hit your stride week 1 when you played, and now you don't really hit it till 9 or 10? Or?
Well, you know, I was in New York when Coach Spags came the first year, and those first 3 games, I thought everybody was going to get ran out of there. You know, we ended up going we started out 0-2, and then we hit a stride, you know, in week 3. But we had guys that we put together from all over the league, and, you know, coming from one system to another, they knew that they could make a play in this scheme over here, over there. And it just wasn't like that. So now you have all these guys that haven't played together, that really don't know the scheme, haven't been in this scheme before. You know, it's a learning curve. But when you see that you have a chance to make a play, you got to make that play. And now we got a couple of games under our belt. Like I said, they're finally understanding how Coach Spags like to call a football game, what we expect on a consistent basis, and they're starting to put it together. You know, everybody want to make a play. You know, you bring Frank Clark in, and he wants to get all the sacks. You bring Tyron, he wants to get all the interceptions. But, you know, when that play comes for you, you just got to make that play. But it takes some time, and once you get it, we'll be able to play faster, and that's really what we're trying to get these guys to do. Play fast all the time. There's going to be some mistakes out there, and that's where you have 11 guys on the football field, and we always harping on moving full speed from drill to drill all the time, because last week was 80-something plays, and if you're not in shape and really understand, it can be a letdown here, a letdown there. But having an offense that put up points like this, you're going to be on the football field a little bit more, because of they're trying to play catch up the way we've been in the last couple of weeks, and you just got to be spot on every single time they go out there, because it's catch up and they're trying to get explosive plays down the field, and we can't allow those explosive plays.